Welcome back to Out West. I'm your host, Dania Rice, and if you want a delicious snack while you're here in Draper, well, we're here at Ballards Iceberg Drive-In. If you like burgers, fries, and shakes, you're in the right place. Let's go talk to the owner and learn more about the history of this one-of-a-kind business. Inside the one and only Ballards Iceberg Drive-In with the owner, Don Ballard. Don, how did you get into this business?
My mother was actually working up the street where IFA is right now. It was called Draper Feed and Egg, and she handled eggs, which meant they put the eggs in front of a strobe light to see if there was any problems in the bloods or anything. So she was doing that, and apparently she didn't want to do that the rest of her life, so she looked around to do some entrepreneurial stuff, I guess, and there actually was a tavern in town, the east end of town, that had been closed for several years, and she wanted to open that back up. But the city fathers at the time put a petition in the local church houses, and they put an end to that. So she kept searching, ran into a gentleman in Murray, Utah, I think, his name was Hap Vital, who had this concept of a possible franchise of fast food at the time. So we were on our own and just doing, hamburgers, fries, shakes. You can see some of the pricing. Hamburgers were a quarter.
Man, I wish it was quarter now just to get a hamburger.
Fries were like a nickel. They were in like nickel increments, 10, 15, 20 cents.
I'm sure you loved growing up with all this food and ice cream whenever you wanted as a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah. You come home from baseball practice, and my mother, we had a big freezer in the garage, and she used to make this lemon slush, and we'd use a slush base. Obviously there was a bunch of stuff in it, and stir it up and put it in a plastic garbage can and put it in the freezer.
Had to be a big freezer.
And they just kept stirring it from time to time, so I'd come home from baseball practice and meet my buddies.
Start stirring and eating.
Raid the garage. So, anyway.
So this turned in from your home growing up into...
Yeah, it was fairly successful. It was the only show in town, but it was a farming community. There was a small hamburger stand on the corner over there. But they were on their way out of town anyway, I think. So, it was just like, it was like that. We didn't have any pavement, it was just road-based, and people would pull up. There was no designated parking, they'd just be all different directions. Walk up to the window and work their stuff and go about their way.
Are a lot of people come here regulars, knowing,
Yeah, we have some regulars, obviously, but, the town has changed so dramatically that...
it's huge now.
Yeah, it's far from anything that I recall. And so we have a lot of new faces, and then they kind of turn into regulars to an extent. So.
Because it's so good. So what kind of food do you have?
Burgers, shakes, and fries, and we have a fairly extensive menu as far as fast food goes.
What's your favorite thing on the menu?
I don't know. How the mood struck me. I always like a hot dog. But, the double cheeseburgers and things like that are really popular. We use fresh cut fries, so they're pretty popular. And,
especially with shakes, just.
Oh yeah, I guess you do that.
And you have tons of shakes.
Yeah, we've got a few shake flavors.
Different kind of makes sense and all that.
Yeah, all the cookies and candies and stuff. The thing that I wanted to get across was that my parents got me started.
Where are your brothers now?
I have 2 older brothers. There's, you look at me and think, are they alive? That's what you mean.
I know, when I asked, I was like, oops.
No, they're alive. My brother, 6 years ahead of me, he comes over in the morning, cleans up, empties trash, and does the windows and stuff. He still helps out that way. But they never, we all as kids participated.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to. Probably chores,
sure,
allowance.
If you wanted to. And
it was a great job in high school, probably.
Yeah, to an extent. When you didn't want to be.
Who wants to work?
You live right there, so you're trapped. We need help. But they had their separate careers, and they're considerably older, 9 years my oldest brother's 9 years older, and then my next is 6 years older. And they went to service and did their thing, went to school.
And it'll stay in the family. Somebody's gonna continue it, hopefully.
Well, my kids have their own. I have a daughter who lives in Logan, and she has a family. So unless the grandkids, there's a kind of a funny story in that regard. My son, who lives in Murray, his two boys were spending the night at the house, and so they woke up Sunday morning, and they came out in the Iceberg, and I was cooking breakfast and stuff, and so they wanted to kind of help cook their own breakfast, so we were
in the kitchen.
Yeah, and they were cooking some stuff, and so the younger of the two, Briggs, on the way home, his dad looks in the rearview mirror and he can see the wheels turning, and he says, "Briggs, what's on your mind?" He said, "Well, I was just thinking." He said, the kid's 9 years old at the time.
9.
He says, "I was just thinking, in about 6 years when Grandpa's dead," he says, "I'm going to take you over to the Iceberg."
He only gave you 6 years.
So I'm about close. He's 12 now.
That's cool that he wants it. Kind of a tradition.
So I don't know if it'll go that direction, but if my health stays good, I've been doing this for so long, I have to be doing something. I'd like to cut back.
Right. Thanks, Don, for sharing the history of Ballards Iceberg Drive-In. I'm going to go try some of this tasty food and then go see what else Draper has to offer.